is a world of shifting timelines. One shot, one injury, one red card, and everything changes. This is the butterfly effect, where each moment bends reality and a single choice rewrites the future, which leads you to ponder the question, what if?
Hello and welcome back to the Hurricane of Football podcast. I'm your host, Seth, and in today's episode, we are going to focus on what if Rando Kolo Muani had scored that goal versus Argentina in the 2022 FIFA World Cup final. I'm sure we all know the goal we're talking about, where he was within one with Emiliano Martinez and missed a shot. So we are going to talk about how that would have impacted Argentina, how Mbappé would have been viewed, and also a bit of on Kolo Muani himself to see how he would have been, because I feel like he was never the same after that match, and also how Didier Deschamps would have been viewed, because he has been in the French job I think since 2012, and for a manager that is a long time. So let's get straight into it. First of all, let me ask you, that match when it was first played, did you actually want Argentina to know you're supporting France?
I know that particular match, I thought I was indifferent, but when Mbappé scored, I was very happy. So I would say I was supporting France. So yeah, I had allegiance to France that particular game.
Okay, for me it was Argentina throughout. I remember when Mbappe scored, like when Mbappe, Argentina were cruising in the first, I would say 18 minutes. Everything was fine. Jules Koundé was even subbed off. Mbappe was Dembele was also subbed off because he was pretty terrible in that final. Then all of a sudden, two quick goals, things started to turn. Went to extra time. When Messi scored that goal to make it 3-2, I was so excited. I used my head to hit the chair. I was just so excited because I was just so happy for him. He was happy Argentina won. But so now let's move into the ultimate reality. So first of all, how do you think France should have been considered one of the greatest teams in the world had they gone back to back, since only Brazil had the only team to have done back to back to back? And do you think they would have been considered a better team than Spain winning 2010, Brazil teams won in the 2002, Italian team, and all those other teams?
I don't think they would have been considered a better team, but I do think Didier Deschamps would have had a better legacy. I'd say they wouldn't be considered a better team because between 2018 and 2020, France had like a completely, like not completely different team. Generally, their team changed, especially their midfield, because Pogba and N'Golo Kante, who were the main forces for them in 2018, they were not available in 2022. I think their midfield at that point was, I think, those who actually played because, uh, what's his name? Kamavinga was in that squad, but like it was mainly Rabiot and what's this other guy's name? I've forgotten
Abi
their squad, but
Kamavinga also played. Kamavinga also played.
yeah,
Sorry, I mean, Chouamini.
yeah, Chouameni, yeah, he's the guy I'm trying to remember. Yeah, he at that point was like now getting into the team, the France national team. So I don't think they would have been necessarily considered the greatest team. Mbappe though, it would have impacted Mbappe differently. Like the praise wouldn't have gone to the team; it would have gone to just the one player because that tournament it was absolutely incredible. So I don't think it's really the same because Spain they generally had the same team, the same structure, the same midfield, the same defense. It was their attack that was like not like how would I even describe it? The attack wasn't consistent. I don't mean consistent as in like they were not good consistently. I mean like it's different players. So I think Spain and Brazil would definitely have a bigger legacy than France, even if they did win it.
Okay, for me, I think they would have been considered one of the best teams because to go back to back, even though some players had left, they still had players like Mbappe, Giroud, and them. Okay, Dembele at that time was still not his best, but you still had players like that who were still at their best, including Griezmann. So I think they would have been considered one of the best.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely, they would have been considered one of the best. But I think compared to Spain and Brazil, the teams you mentioned, their legacy will not be on the same level.
Okay,
Because you also have to take into account the quality of players that they have.
okay. And the next question I wanted to ask you is, how do you think it would have affected Messi's legacy as considered as the GOAT of football?
Honestly, I don't think that World Cup should have had any effect on Messi's legacy. Messi is the greatest player of all time. It shouldn't even really be a question. It shouldn't be about him winning a World Cup for his country. That should like take him over the edge. Because what at that point Messi had already won a trophy for the country. Like he achieved everything he could achieve in his club career. And he had a great tournament even if he still lost it. So I don't think him losing it, there would still be some, I'd say, ignorant people who would try and argue that he's not the greatest the player of all time because he didn't win a World Cup. I think it's a stupid argument because it's not just one player that wins the tournament. Even though he literally carried that team that year, everything is like almost every goal, every assist, everything went through Messi. So yeah, I don't think it should have changed anything. Winning that, losing it would not have changed anything, but winning it solidified it past what it was initially.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but there are some people who would have always used that stick to beat him, that he never won the World Cup. He never won, even though people would have said that the Copa America, it was made in a way for him to win and all that. But in him winning the World Cup, it makes it hard to it makes it hard to almost dispute why he isn't, because like there's what else is there for him to win in football that he hasn't won? Like he has
Yeah,
taken on everything. I feel like ever since he won the World Cup here, I feel like there's less
yeah,
pressure on him in a
relax.
way. I feel like
Yeah,
he's just doing side missions rather than doing it. He has relaxed. Like there's a burden that has lifted on his shoulders.
yeah.
And also, do you think that it helped? And one question: do you think it helped him surpass Maradona's legacy in the eyes of Argentinians because of the World Cup? I feel like up until then, people always saying that he has won some, but Maradona won a World Cup, and Maradona did it in a way that was, how do I put it? It was, I don't think okay, it was a bit controversial
Iconic.
because of the God of hand goal, but
Hand of
also
God.
the hand of God goal, and also how you put it, the word is not memorable. Now that I say it was a memorable because even again England he scored that crazy goal where he dribbled past all those players. So do you think by winning the World Cup made it hard that you can't really compare him and Maradona because like he almost surpassed Maradona?
And the Maradona conversation, there are still Maradona conversations, in my opinion. From what I have seen, I don't really live in Argentina to understand how their media and those things work and what their opinions are. But still, I think like the older generation have like more of an affiliation to Maradona because like they literally watch him like, and for them that was in their youth. So seeing someone like that, it's like Lamine Yamal at this point. No matter what he does, someone like you or me, I don't think would ever say that Yamal is a better player than me. So that's how I think. I think their generation is split. There are people who would think Maradona is better than Messi. But I think him winning that World Cup more, he converted more people who were on the edge. So I see he improved his legacy in Argentina in that sense.
Okay.
What about you? What do you think?
For me, I think he placed him completely over because Maradona won the World Cup and he did it in style, like I said. But with him winning it, it almost became like everything Maradona has done, Messi has done it. And if you're talking about in club careers, Messi's club career is much better than Maradona's one. Even though Maradona, he did his own thing, he played for a lot of clubs and mostly Napoli, where he's very adored. Messi's club career and Maradona's club career are completely different. And also, part of that is because of the areas they played in. But you can't Maradona's club career and Messi's club career you can't be compared. They are so no disrespect to Maradona's club career. But I feel like even if you had to split Messi's career into two, Maradona will still not achieve half of what Messi did. Just different eras, but that was it then. So
Wait. Now, me idea was Maradona, but I think they're doing Maradona is to get the sense. If you split Messi's career into two, nah. I completely disagree with that.
if you split
I'm not.
Messi has 45 trophies now. If you are to divide that into half, if you are to divide that into half, that's like almost 22 trophies. I don't know. Maradona doesn't have 22 trophies and stuff.
Yeah, but there were more trophies to win in Messi's generation. There were more like opportunity. I don't think Maradona's time they were playing like how do you call that thing? Copa del Rey in like three different tournaments in one season, like in like locally in that particular league, playing three different tournaments in that season. Messi coming to
Well,
early.
I get what they're playing those stuff. I get what you're saying. The Copa Rey and stuff they're playing. Just that the only thing is they're not playing a lot more football. So I get you. I get you in that point. They're not playing a lot more football than like how they're playing. But the thing is, that's why sometimes it's difficult to compare generations because it's not exactly the same. But I get what you're saying because if you had to bring Maradona into this time, I think he and Messi they would have been almost on par if you had to bring Maradona into this because like he had the same training and stuff as Messi. I think you'd have been,
Yeah,
if this might be controversial, but I think you'd have been better than Messi. It's
yeah,
true. I
but
feel like
in a way, but
yeah,
like Messi is a better goal scorer. So if you consider that,
yeah.
Messi would suffer.
In terms of goals, but I think Messi, like how do I say it? Maradona would have been like like Maradona would have been like Messi, but with more dribbling ability. That's what I've been like.
More dribbling ability.
Maradona
Okay,
dribbles more.
actually, it's in the air. Me, I don't know. I never watched Maradona for my life. So like, I've only seen highlights.
Okay. Now, talking about Mbappe is a bit more on Mbappe's legacy. How
Yeah,
do you think you'd have been seen when the World Cup happened? He was 23, and so he would have been the first player since Pele to go back to back. He scored a hat trick in the final. At that point, internationally, you could even argue that okay, club football maybe there would have been a bit, but I feel like at that point, internationally, he'd have been the best player in the world when it comes to international tournaments because to score a hat trick in the final when your team were losing, win two World Cups at the age of 19, age of 23, he would have been untouchable. He would have been untouchable in a way that I don't think we would have seen any player like that because most of us
true.
didn't really see Pele play. So I feel like he would have been on quote unquote God level.
Yeah. Yeah, like completely agree with everything you said. And I think you would also have a Ballon d'Or with that because if Messi
Yeah, I think
won the
yeah,
Ballon
but he would have won a Ballon d'Or because
d'Or,
to win back to back World Cups like them, that winning a World Cup, winning one World Cup alone is difficult, and to do it back to back while scoring a final, while scoring a hat trick, that
that
would
was
have
the
been
thing. Messi won the World Cup. So if it was the other way around, if Messi won the Ballon d'Or. So if it was the other way around, I think
yeah. Mbappe would have
Mbappe.
actually
Yeah,
he would have won, and I
yeah,
think it would have put him in a conversation where it would be hard for anybody to argue because even him with him even losing, scoring a hat trick in the final is crazy.
true. I mean, Mbappe stuff, it shouldn't really be this type of a conversation. It's like at that point, he carried the France team in that final because without him, nothing. Bro, they were terrible the entire game. I think Mbappe, like, even if imagine, oh, bro, like this is what we are talking about. What if Kolo Muani also passed the ball to Mbappe and Mbappe scored 4 goals in that final, bro?
He'd have gone on to a level that I don't like. It has just been crazy because 4 goals in the World
Yeah,
Cup final and winning the World Cup. That would have feel like nothing would have even winning the Champions League would not have brought him to that. Like couldn't match that because to score 4 goals in the final when the team was losing 2-0 and it went with 10 minutes to go. That would have just taken him to a level where you'd have become supernova. I think, like at
yeah,
that point, you should just at that moment you could have retired from football and you'd have considered one of the greatest players of all time.
True, because that tournament, he also won the golden boot for that tournament. He won-
Currently, he even has one. So him having two would have just taken him onto a level that I've never seen before.
Yeah, and take a look at a player like Pele, Brazil, like Pele from Brazil.
Yeah,
The main thing he's known for is his World Cup
yeah,
success.
yeah.
So
It's true
yeah,
because
because
he played.
that career, everybody knows he was adding goals. Rest in peace, not disrespect him. Everybody knows he was adding goals. Every year, his goal
Yeah,
tally is
kept,
changing.
it almost kept changing at some point. But I think the one recognized by FIFA is around 700 and I think 50 something. But they kept
Yeah,
saying thousand and all that. So yeah, and if
yeah,
because he didn't also play in Europe, so he didn't play in Europe. He spent most of his time in South America, and then I think he went to America. So he didn't
yeah.
win. He didn't win things like champion and stuff. So yeah, he should have Mbappe would have like even me myself. I wouldn't argue that he would have been one of the best players in the world. Then what
And
about Argentina?
honestly, even
Okay, finish your
before
point.
we move on from yeah, him not winning that like the World Cup at that point, it shouldn't like be any less of. We should still recognize and respect Mbappe for that. And me, I thought it was significantly disrespectful because after Yamal's first season, there was a journalist on ESPN, I've forgotten his name, saying that Yamal was a better player than Mbappe, forgetting all the things Mbappe did in his career. Like he was saying that Yamal is the best player in the world, and Yamal is like technically probably a better footballer, like his
Yeah, if
dribbling,
I
his
talk about in terms of not natural football,
yeah,
Mbappe is a better finisher. I feel like the one thing I would say is if Yamal is to improve, is to get his finishing to not even the same level as Mbappe, but a tier below Mbappe, he'll be way better than Mbappe.
no. But you okay? Let's not turn this into a Yamal Mbappe
No,
discussion.
I
But
know,
like
but I know, yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is, if in terms of if you're talking about all round natural footballer, Yamal is better than Mbappe. But if you are to
yeah,
tell me
but
that,
impact on a team. Let's consider
but if
that.
you're talking about the impact on the team at the moment, impact on the team as in currently or impact on the team
No,
as in when.
for his entire career, his let's look at France.
Okay, wait,
Even before, even
if you say the his entire career, I'll give
yes,
to Mbappe because Mbappe has done it for way longer than Lamine Yamal. So that one I'll give to Mbappe. That one, it would be disrespectful to say it's Yamal because Yamal has
yeah,
really done it for, yeah, say 3 years because yeah, 3 years. Okay, two and a half to be fair. But if I'm talking about because Mbappe, if without Mbappe, Real Madrid will sit in like 15th.
yeah, and Mbappe, honestly, going to Real Madrid. I mean, what other team would he have gone to? Because
I don't think.
no,
I
nobody,
think.
nobody
Yeah,
was
I
looking
think.
at that of wages.
And I think everybody in the football world knew he was going there, so nobody else really tried. Nobody else apart from that Saudi Arabia bid, which we all knew he was going to reject. Nobody really tried to sign him. It was like other teams were going to bid and stuff because we all accepted that he was going to Real Madrid.
It's almost unfair on him, in my opinion, because like he didn't really have a choice. It was a Real Madrid or nothing because no other team was going to. And if he stayed at Ligue 1 in France, people will still say that he's in the farmers league, so that's why he starts padding and stuff like that. So he definitely had to leave PSG. But in leaving PSG, going to Real Madrid and playing him as a striker, I think that's a very important
I
thing to
feel
do.
like
Playing
he has, in terms of footballing terms, I feel like the way he came in as a youngster and now, in terms of play style, the way he used to dribble and I don't know, it
yeah,
feels like he has, I don't want to say he has regressed, but I feel like his metamorphosis has changed, has made him a way where it's almost like now he's more of a goal scorer than somebody who you consider as a player with other skill sets. I
attribute.
don't know if you get what I mean. It feels like he has become, if you want somebody who finish the ball, he has become like a killer in front of the goal. It's like other teams, so other things used to have as somehow vanished or like it has regressed.
Now, I think he's still there. It's just that he's not in the position to be able to exploit those chances. That's why in the World Cup, I really hope they play him as a winger and not a striker. Didier Deschamps, he's a solid international coach. I don't really think he's that great of a coach because tactically, I don't
In the
think
Euros,
he's that.
in the Euros, they were so boring to watch. In the Euros,
Yeah,
they hardly. I think for almost from certain points of the group stage to almost the round of was it, the quarterfinals, so they hardly scored an open play goal.
yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
so
what I don't want to happen in the World Cup. I want Mbappe on the left. I want was Ekitike in the middle, and I want Olise on the right. That's what I want because if France should have the best chance of winning the World Cup or performing like very well in the World Cup, Mbappe should be on the left because that's where like he's at his most deadly. And coming from the left, he doesn't just focus on scoring because even in the World Cup, he tries to create chances for his teammates. Even if he's just smashing the ball across the box for someone to tap it in, like he does that. He creates chances, and I feel like he's utilizing him as a left winger will get more out of Mbappe. And that's my answer for Mbappe.
okay.
What's the
So
next?
now then let's focus on the man who actually made the chance, Randall Kolo Muani. And how do you think his career would have propelled had he scored that goal? There's an argument that maybe not much would have happened because in a way Mario Götze scored a goal for Germany in the 2014 World Cup, and his career was a bit. I'll not say it was bad, but like after that he did well a bit. Then it feels like he dropped off the face of the earth. Nobody really ever talks about Mario Götze. It
Yeah,
feels like and I feel like he just disappeared. I know he still plays football. He still plays football in the Bundesliga, but he was not talked about the way he was talked about. Rando Kolo Muani, how do you think you'd have talked about at Frankfurt? She was one of the best strikers. He was really performing for Frankfurt. So how do you
yeah,
think his career would have been? Because I remember himself saying that he struggled with it for some time. That
yeah.
he didn't find it easy getting over. And he knows that he'll never be able to get over it. So do you think? How do you think he would have been perceived currently? Because I still think people beat him last take of him missing that chance.
Uh, the perception on Kolo Muani, like on his football ability, would to depend on whatever happens, like whether a better team signs him. Because at that point, was it PSG that signed him from Frankfurt?
Yeah, it was PSG
Was
that
it?
sent him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And at that time, strikers were not like a large commodity. So I feel like more teams would be after him if like he had that notoriety or after the World Cup. Because you remember after the World Cup, a lot of players got big moves from
yeah,
their
a lot of
performance.
players, a lot
A
of
lot of
players.
players.
And he start. I think it was after the World Cup he moved because his season in the Bundesliga, he scored 15 goals and 11 assists for Frankfurt. That was in 22
That's
twenty
very
three. Yeah, so that I think that and he moved. He moved, I think, yeah, that was the season he moved. No, he moved after that season because in 23, 24, I think that was when he moved to PSG in 23, 24. That's when he moved to PSG. Yeah, in
well.
23, 24. And when he moved there, he scored 6 goals and 5 assists. He scored 6 goals and provided 5 assists in his first season.
Yeah, I mean, for Kolo Muani, things might have been different as in a bad way too, because him scoring it might bring a lot of attention to him. That at that point he hadn't finished developing his game, and he was a relatively young player at that time too. So maybe a big team might have rushed to get it. Example like PSG, but any other team else could have rushed to get him. And like if he doesn't perform very well to their expectations, it might slow down his like development and progress. And
I feel like him going to PSG wasn't really the best move because that time Mbappe was still there. Mbappe was
yes,
still there. I think they signed. I think they are this the Mbappe was still there. It didn't take long. Then they signed.
I can think
No, Ekitike. That time he went in 23, 24. That time Messi and Neymar. But Mbappe was still there. Dembele was also signed. So I think it was
but
also the same.
Who was PSG's main striker?
At that time, it was Mbappe that they were playing the. I think that it was Mbappe that were playing the most as a striker because that was when Mbappe got into that whole debacle with PSG where they said do not play him, and he started that if he doesn't sign a new contract, they'll ban him and all that stuff. And that was when they played Barcelona 23-24 when they played Barcelona in the other where they knocked us out in the finals. Yeah, it was that season. So then the Mbappe who saga thing, it was also because that's when they started dropping for matches and stuff. Yeah, it was all that stuff. Because 24-25 was when he moved Mbappe, that is. So now, what about Emiliano Martinez? Because I feel like that World Cup placed him on a map. If the Argentina had lost, that he wouldn't have been because first the save, then the whole penalty antics of him dancing and then when they gave him the gold glove when he placed it on his crotch and all that. I feel like that if the now people talk about oral farming, that World Cup final he oral farmed than anyone else. I feel like if Argentina had lost, he wouldn't he wouldn't have been considered one of the best international goalkeepers. He wouldn't have won all those FIFA best awards and all that. And I think it would have even affected his confidence because I feel like Emiliano Martinez is a confident character. Someone gets into it with players. So how do you think it would have affected him?
Well, I mean, I think it wouldn't have affected him because for exactly what you said, he's a very confident individual. So I feel like even there's some setbacks won't like hold him back. Like it won't determine how he would feel because even prior to that final, he was like considered one of the best goalkeepers in the entire tournament. Like the penalty saves and stuff like that, and those like I think he still probably he definitely would have still won the Golden Glove because it was not it's not based on clean sheet and regardless of whether they lost, he still would have got that Golden Glove. But the antics that he did in the final, that was probably what like went the most viral of like of all the things that he was doing. And at that point, he was already Aston Villa's number one, and nobody was come to take that place of his. He definitely, I don't think he would have won. What's the name of that ballon?
The
The
FIFA,
award.
yeah, the
Yeah,
FIFA.
FIFA. I think he would have won that though. He probably would have gone to Lloris, even even though
Yeah, you
he.
never know. Yeah, I'm sure they would have given it. I'm sure they'd have given it to him. And one, also, before we, do you think if it's decided by moments that are inexplicable, people can control, decided by greatness? Or
Think you've answered the question, so I think it's a bit of both. Because regardless of how good you are, you still need a bit of luck. Otherwise, Messi would have won that World Cup. Look at in 2014, Higuain. Messi was very unlucky to have a player like that by his side. Honestly, Higuain is a good striker. I don't know, maybe they care some or something. That like he missed like 2,000 chances. Messi should have won the World Cup even before that because that Germany final. I don't even clearly remember the game, but I remember Argentina creating a lot of chances, and it was out of pure luck that Gote got that goal. So I think luck has a lot to play with it, but like you have to create that luck for yourself. You have to be good enough to create the luck for yourself. So yeah, that's what I think it is.
I also think I'll say it's a, I'll say it's a bit of both, but because sometimes there are certain things in football where you can't really explain. Back to the Colomani this one because that moment, if you had passed it, look, everybody assumes that if you had passed it to Mbappe would have actually scored. But he might have blazed a shot over. You never know. Everybody assumes Mbappe would have scored. But
Nah, Mbappe definitely would have scored because that mindset he was in. He already had 3 goals and he was like living off crap. A tapping would not be a problem. I think he was locked in for that entire final. How they call it something is like he was in the zone, and at that point nothing he was doing was wrong. Even if I can remember clearly, I think he had like he dribbled some people and he got a ball into the box and Kolo Muani now or someone else got their shot blocked from what Mbappé did. So I think that particular match, if he got that chance, he definitely would have scored on it.
I think at the end of this episode, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know how you think